Hello class, I'm not sure how familiar you are with Excel, but I'm going to give you some hints on how to put your calculations into the spreadsheet to calculate pi. So the first thing you're probably going to be doing is putting in the number of sides of the polygons that you're working with. So if I put number of sides up here, and let's say I start with a triangle and then continue up, I need to put at least the first two numbers in the series, highlight them both, and then go to the right corner down here and drag. And then you can see I'm 10, 11, 12. I'm going to stop at 15. Okay. So, but you may find that these numbers aren't converging to pi fast enough using this number of sides. So maybe you decide to start from 10. So if I go 10, and let's say I go by 10, so 10, 20, then again, if I highlight those, now I could drag again, but if I have a list of numbers already in here, I can also double click here. So if I double click, I get it by hundreds. I can do it by thousands. Maybe that's going to be much more accurate. Or if I want, I could even do a sort of exponential growth, which is usually something that gets big much faster. So for example, let's say I started with 2, and then I decide that I'm going to double whatever's in the cell above me. So I'm in cell A3. So what I'm going to do is say equals whatever's in cell A2 times 2. Okay? And then if I copy that down, it's going to grow each time in any cell I'm at. Like for example, in cell 6, I'm taking cell 5 times 2. So here, if I'm in cell 11, I'm taking cell 10 by 2. All right, so that's a way you can change the sides to get more sides. Now, if you worked out the angle in degrees and you have to use a trig function, Excel only works in radians. So basically what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to convert your degrees to radians. And there's a formula for that. So the function is called radians. So for example, let's say you had pi, you had 180 degrees, and you want to convert that to radians. The answer is going to be pi, right? So let's see if that works. So what you're going to have to do is hit equals and type the function radians, R-A-D-I-A-N-S. Okay, and you put parentheses, and you want to change what's in cell C2 to radians. So in this case, I get pi radians, which is the same thing as 180 degrees. Now this is going to be useful when you use a trig function. So if, for example, I need to do the sine of 180, what I'm going to do is do that in 2 steps. I'm going to do the sine of whatever 180 is in radians. So I have to do that radian function inside the sine function. So I'm going to do sine of 180 degrees in radians, and I'm going to get 0 for that. So now let's say I did 90 degrees. So 90 degrees in degrees is going to be 1.5 in radians, but it's going to work out to be 1. So the sine of 90 degrees is 1. So let me show you one last thing, and then you guys can work on this on your own. But basically, let's say I want to figure out that my angle is equal to, let's say it's 360 divided by the number of sides, which is probably something you've figured out already. So 360 divided by the number of sides is A2. So I would do that, hit enter. Now again, shortcut is double click, and then I basically get my angles here in degrees. And now let's say, I'm not doing the full calculation, but let's say again I want to do the, let's get rid of this real quick. Okay. Let's say I want to do the sine of this, of the angle, sine of angle. So again, you'd have a different formula, but again, you have to do equals the sine of the radians of this angle, and then hit enter. And again, if you double click that, it's going to do it for all these different values. Okay? All right, hope this helps you, and obviously I'll be around for questions.